Greetings to all. Functional components of CRM. The functional component refers to a host of marketing, operational, organizational, and technological initiatives that make your CRM strategy run. So if you want to run your CRM strategy, we require some functional components. So basically we have the basic functions like marketing, operational, and technological initiatives which runs our CRMs very smoothly. And then the common thread is a 360-degree view of the customer via an integrated platform. So the insights gleaned from the data impact and drive. So we have the basic functional component that are the data mining and governance, direct marketing. It includes the digital marketing, customer reporting, customer analytics, customer research, customer communications, particularly the personalized offers and messaging. So we can go with the first one, that is data management and governance. So it entails the implementation of tools, the processes, and the architectures that are designed to achieve your company's objective. Data governance involves managing how data is associated and handled within a large data management strategy, down to access granted to specific users and compliance protocols. So here, when you want to manage your data, it requires the architecture that needs a design, and it is used to achieve the company's objective, because the data is very crucial in your organization. So without data, we are unable to manage relationship with your customer. And at the same time, you have to give consideration for the data governance. It includes, or it involves, how it is accessible, and then who is accessible your data. That is also very important aspect in data governance. So second one is direct marketing, which includes the digital marketing. When you combine your direct mail with digital marketing, you can easily drive the better results, because it is very easy to access your customers. And then through digital arena, we can easily reach a wider range of people, those who are technologically enabled, and they are widely used the digital platforms. There are many ways to add the digital to your direct mail campaigns in a cost-effective way, so that you can test to see how it works for you. And then we can also use the display ads. You can use these display ads in conjunction with your mail. So it is very easy that we can easily market yourself, and then maintain a good relationship with the digital ads through the digital platform. And third one is the customer reporting. Customer service reports provide an overview of all customer service requests. So you can keep track of the trends, which allow you to identify the areas for improvement of your product or service. You can plan the workload and the schedules of your support team. And most importantly, you make sure the customer expectations are well met or not, so that it will be very important for the customer reporting. And the fourth one is customer data analytics. So for this, we have already stressed one model, that is Gartner's competency model. And then according to Gartner, customer analytic is the use of data to understand the composition, needs, and satisfaction of customer. Also, the enabling technology used to segment the buyers into grouping based on the behaviors, to determine general trends, to develop targeted marketing and the sales activities. So these are all very important. And we have another function, that is customer research. So we know very well about the importance of customer research in CRM. So if you want to connect your tech savvy customers, and then those who are regularly using or penetrating to new products and new services, we can easily reach with only customer research. One of the best application of market research is the area of customer relationship management. So it helps an organization to get an accurate and sharp feedback on their performance and through different customer opinions, which helps them to understand what the customers feel about them. So customer is a very crucial part today, and then they have their own tastes and preferences. So here, every time you have to conduct the research, you can get the feedback, grievances, or else any other problems they face by using your products or services. So if you conduct a research, so that they will give everything. So if you get all these, the inputs from your customer, better you have a change in your product or service pack. The last one is customer communications, particularly personalized offers and messaging. Yes, the personalized communication is when the marketing message is adapted to each individual by using information from a database, and we utilize this database in various and different media channels available today. So it is a part of our CRM. It is a major component. Without communication media or without communication platform, you cannot send or you cannot manage your customer with your updated product or updated services. Especially the personalized offers attract the more customers to maintain a long relationship, and then whatever your message you send to your targeted customers, so it should be very clear, and then which attracts the more. So after getting our personalized offer or message, you should stick on that. That is also very important aspect to maintain a longer relationship, because everything which is in the database. Database management. Oh, a CRM database allows businesses to manage relationships with contacts and customers by centralizing information. So it organizes your contacts data, log interactions through calls, emails, or chats. So today we are not more dependent on calls and emails. Today every website, it allows a live chat with their representatives. For example, if you take ICICI Bank, they have Alaska or something, another one, Alia. So these people these representatives, they can use these charts for immediate response from the company regarding a particular product or service. Even we can give the requisitions and we can give the grievances through these live chats. Keep track of your deals and create reports. You can typically see the contact source, if they visited your website, and the company, and more. So basically in database management, we have three elements that are the contact organization, managing the deals, and creating reports. The first one is contact organization. Once we add your contact to a CRM, we have the ability to sort and filter the contacts by different contact properties. Like you can first and last name, email address, and the company details, the income level, the social status, age, the gender, the expenditure level. So we can include a number of contact details. We can easily organize. So based on your requirement of the customers, as well as the customers buying capacity or their interest towards your organization, you can sort it. Sometimes we sort based on the frequency of the buyer. So based on that, we can give priority for those people to maintain a good relationship. The next one is managing deals. Many CRM databases provide a full layout of your deal pipelines, stages, and close dates, which makes deal management easier. Salespeople can see an overview of their deals and see their progress towards their monthly quota. So we can have the targets and the The salespeople, they every time they have to check the overview of their deals and how it is progress. Based on that only they can set the quotas. And last one is creating reports. In most robust CRM systems, you can build reports to keep track of your contacts and deals and create revenue forecasts so you can see how deals are measuring up against your goals. With a CRM, you can speed up your sales processes, communicate with contacts effectively, and plan for the future of your business. And most importantly, if you are ready to take the next step with your customer relationship management, you just check out these CRM best practices are available or not. So whether you are dealing with these strategies, and you can give priority for the CRM practices first, and then you can consider the remaining aspect or functional aspects the next. The next concept is database construction. So before going to that, we have what are the best construction CRM softwares in 2020. So Procore, HubSpot CRM, Zoho CRM, Construction Online, Cosential, Copper, Namos CRM, Excello, PayPanther, ProDBX, ClickFix, Keep in Touch, Top Builder. So if you take all these top companies or top softwares, so everything it has a CRM or maintain a relationship with customer. The name of the software itself, it shows, it means it is a magnet. So a good database is designed for a specific use. It is constructed with the possibility of growth. Like a website, we can say it is a one size fits all. Only it ensures that our database may not have the flexibility we need. Our database may fail to collect the information that we want and need for our businesses, or it may fail to improve or provide our customers all the information they need to make a purchasing decision. So whatever the database you construct, it ensures that the database is more flexible, and then it collects all the information and which requires or which is a need for your business also. So whenever you construct a database, you have to remind all these particular elements, and based on that only we constructed a database. So based on your database, we can process it, and then we make them to buy the products of you. So the purchasing decision will have, or we can forecast their purchasing decisions in near future. Data warehousing. So we know very well the database management, and we know very well the database is a repository of the collection of files, the tables, and these files contains a number of records, which in turn contain various fields. Each file contains information about a topic such as customer, sales, product, or grievances or complaints. So these steps are very crucial for your data management. And then we have the types of customer data in primary and secondary. The primary data is one which is collected for the first time, and the secondary data is the one which has already collected earlier. So we need to get more secondary data, and then through them we can collect the primary data also. Now today we have to build a good network for getting more primary data, and which is a conventional data such as conducting surveys, holding a skill competition, inviting the customer to subscribe for the newsletters. So or we can register their purchase, etc. These are all very crucial part for getting the primary data. And then we have Data warehousing, the electronic storage of large amount of information by a business. Warehouse data must be stored in a manner that is secure, reliable, and we can easily retrieve and easy to manage. The concept of data warehousing originated in 1988 with the work of IBM researchers Barry Devlin and Paul Murphy. So the need to warehouse data as well as computer systems became more complex and handled increased amounts of data. In simple words, we can use this particular warehouse for retrieving the data. It is like a storage of data. So we can safeguard this data. It is more reliable and then it may be useful for the immediate decisions also. So numerous global businesses are operating from various countries and the contingents general use volumes of data. This data needs to be converted into useful information for further operations and the marketing analysis. Data warehouse does this task by accepting the data from ETL systems that extracts valuable data. It transforms it into required format and loads it into the database. So accordingly, the organizing data with the subject of business and the various time periods. The standardizing data coming from various sources in a single format. For example, we can take it as a bringing salutation, the codes, the units of measurement in the same format. We can conduct periodic updates of data, say daily or weekly. It depends on our business requirements. So it is not done in real time. Providing updated data for the purpose of analytics, data mining, and reporting. The data warehouse architecture. So we have various types of elements in data warehouse. So operational and external database layer, the tools or the sources of data for the data warehouse. So whatever the sources we have, it is treated as the operational database layer. And the second one is information access layer. It is the tools the end user access to extract and analyze the data. So it is converted data into an useful information. In this, we can ensure that it has a good information for analyzing. And the third one is data access layer. The information is the interface between the operational and information access layers. So it is not only for information purpose, it is for the operational purpose also. And the last one is a metadata layer, the data directory or a repository of metadata information. So in that layer, we can obtain the data from the data. Data about data is called metadata. The data warehouse architecture have another additional layers, which are process management layer, the scheduler or job controller, and the second one is application messaging layer. It is for the middleware which transports the information around the firm, which is only for the purpose of internal activities of the organization. And the third one is physical data warehouse layer. In this, the actual data used in decision support systems which are located in the organization. And the last one is the data staging layer. All the processes necessary to select and we can edit, summarize and load warehouse data from the operational and external database. In simple words, the customer data is accessed only by the internal people, those who are having the authorization. Especially, we can allow the layer up to the process management layer when we require the data which is more important for further authorizations. We send these details to the application layer. After that, we can take a decision with the use of physical layer, and finally we can take it as like an action which is considered the layer called data staging layer. So these are all the components of data warehouse: information access layer, data access layer, data warehouse, data staging layer, data access layer, and operational data sources. So for example, if we take the data dictionary, which is in the bottom level of right hand side, so it is accessed with both the process management and data directory functions. This data directory function is uh, related, and it flows with the application messaging layer. In application messaging layer, we can use all the layers for getting the data, and we can take any type of marketing decisions. Data mining. So data mining is the process of shifting through the huge volume of the data to get most relevant information in the shortest possible time. CRM takes the help of artificial intelligence to find out the solutions, the most important questions of the business. In the context of CRM, data mining is the application of predictive analytics to support marketing, sales, and the services. In CRM, the data mining finds associations among data. It clarifies the customers according to the business value proposition, and it helps to find answers of the following questions. Like we have these questions: which customers the business should target, what is the cost of customer acquisition, which customers are buying or they are not paying our products, who are the high, medium, or low margin customers, what's the profile of customers are defaulting payment repeatedly, how can a business segment its market, can the business offer a common price for all the customer segments? So these are all very important questions while we are going for processing the data mining. And for example, an analyst of Walmart noticed that uh, the sales of beer and diaper is high on Fridays. Having this fact brought to the notice of Walmart, the business kept the two products close to each other on shelves. This resulted in the sale rise of both the products. Thus, data mining helps in generating sales volumes by providing most relevant data for marketing analytics or marketers analysis. Process of semi-automatically analyzing large databases to find the patterns that are valid, novel, useful, and understandable. What are the characteristics of the data mining? The first one is we have large quantities of data. So here the data is so great, and it has to be analyzed by automated techniques. For example, we can take satellite information, credit card transaction. So whenever we have a credit card transaction, we have a mail, and then immediately we have the message and automatically updated at the card statement. So at a time we have all these things. So the data mining, which allows the large quantities of data into a single transaction. Second one is noisy. So we can take the incomplete data, and it is a characteristic of data collection. So whenever we have not extracted the data, even though the data is available, we can get it from the data collection. And third one is complex data structure. So conventional statistical analysis is not possible for the data mining. So we have a separate analytics for the data mining. And the last one is the heterogeneous data stored in legacy systems. So we have a legacy systems for data mining, and then so whichever the data which is not homogeneous, so that we can store in the data based management. If it is more different from the existing data, it can be used to store in our legacy systems. So data mining tools. We have basically three tools. The first one is traditional data mining. In traditional data mining programs, help companies to establish data patterns and trends by using a number of complex algorithms and techniques we use to know the data mining, and we can process the data mining. So here we widely use the algorithms and the techniques. And the second one is dashboards. We installed in computers to monitor the information in a database, and dashboards reflect the data, the changes in data and updates on screen, often in the form of a chart or in a table, enabling the user to see how the business is performing. We can consider the bank statements today. We can get through the PDF forms or Excel form or in a Word document. We can get it. It is only possible with the dashboards. The next one is text mining. The third type of data mining tool sometimes is called a text mining tool because of its ability to mine the data from different kinds of text. For example, if you take the Microsoft Word and Acrobat PDF documents to simple text files, so this is the best example for the text mining. These tools scan content and convert the selected data into a format that is most compatible with the tool's database. Thus provides the users with an easy and convenient way of accessing data without the need to open different applications. Data mining techniques. In addition to using a particular data mining tool, internal auditors can choose from a variety of data mining techniques. So we have basically three types of techniques: artificial neural networks, decision trees, nearest neighbor method. The first one is the artificial neural networks. Neural networks have been used to solve a wide variety of tasks that are hard to solve. So here we use the ordinary rule-based programming, including computer vision and speech recognition. We can consider a data mining technique. So today we can Google through the voice. We can get updone the information through artificial intelligence manner. We can schedule these particular artificial networks. So these are all possible with the data mining techniques. The second one is the decision tree. The tree-shaped structure that represent decision sets. The decisions generate the rules, which then are used to classify data. So, for example, if you take auditors can use them to assess whether the organization is using an appropriate cost-effective marketing strategy that is based on the assigned value of the customer, such as profit. The last one is the nearest neighbor method. In this method, we classify data set records based on similar data in a historical data set. Auditors can use this approach to define a document that is interesting to them and task the system to search for the similar items. So based on these techniques, we can audit our data, and then we can additionally using these data mining techniques with the data mining tools. So we can easily audit from various data mining techniques. So what is the significance of data mining? Now we know very well, today we are in a competitive world, and then every business has to fight huge competitions to achieve the success as well as to sustain the market. So it is very easy if you have a large amount of data, and then if you are having full employee details and the sales data, the customers information, and then the reports of market analytics, so etc. It can give us the more confidence to take a particular decision, and the sales and transactions which detects the beneficial patterns, minimizing the risk, and it may increase the return on investment. We can easily understand the business problems, and then we can clear the problems, and we can estimate or forecast our goals to be achieved at what time or in a what period. Now, what is the position of CRM with respect to database? So after having known various types of CRMs, let us see the CRM where with respect to the customer database, we have a strategic CRM. So in that we have given priority for customers, and in a collaborative CRM we can give for communication. In operative CRM we can give automation, and we can take the analytics CRM, that is our data analysis or customer database. So this is the position of CRM with respect to database, and we can take it as the architecture for data analysis. For example, if you take the customer's data, and then we have collaborated with your customers through the face-to-face contact, or you can send emails, we can use the call center contact, or we can chat. So apart from these, we have a collaboration with the marketing and sales and services automation systems, and we can easily process, and we can have a long relationship with your customer.